Welcome back to another Retro Indie Spotlight. I'm your host, Gaming Jay, and today we're hopping into a roguelike calculator game called Calculate It. Definitely has a bit of Balatro influence, I feel, but I played through this game. So, fun fact, I made an entire video playing this game, failing multiple times. Finally, actually beat it, which is really hard to do. I can't believe I did it. I don't want to set the expectation that I'll do it again here. But it turns out my mic wasn't set up correctly, so most of my voice was just lost, so I had to scrap the whole video. But that's okay, because I kind of, it was a longer video, it was over an hour, and I kind of figured out how to play in that time. So I'm giving this one another shot because I think it's a cool, neat little game. It's not super expensive either. It's on Steam right now in early access, so it's not finished yet, but it's in development. But yeah, worth a try, but let's explore it here today together, and I'll tell you more about it. So first of all, it is a calculator roguelike, and to beat levels, you have to solve very simple equations. In the video I recorded before, I started on the normal calculator, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't get too far. Then I tried some of these other calculators, which are quite interesting, but this one, the old calculator, I got the farthest on. This has some interesting buttons. So this button switches all 2s to 4s, 4s to 7s, 7s to 3s. This just adds 1, this subtracts 1. So very interesting calculator. I surprisingly got quite far with this one. This one here, this adds 5 to the beginning of a number, this adds 1 to the end of a number, and so on. So this is a very weird one. This one was quite hard. I did try it in the previous video that got scrapped. And then this one is, this one's like a suicide one. I haven't tried this one. But this one, I figured out the normal calculator, so let's have a go, and I will kind of explain the strategy as we go. But you might be asking, how do you make calculating into a roguelike? And this is how. Basically, I have a number 84, and I need to get to 8, and each button only has a set number of uses. So I only have 2 pluses, 2 minus, 2 divides, and so on. So to get to 84, for instance, I could subtract 76. And in fact, that may be the way to go. That only uses 3 buttons. Now you get money after each round. You can buy more buttons. The trick is not to use more than about 3, maybe 4 buttons if you really have to. And then buy valuable buttons on the way out. So yeah, if I've done my math right, if I subtract 76, I'll get to 84. Geez, I hope I've got my math right. If I got it wrong already, we're in for a rough time. Anyway, we just beat the level. See, pretty easy. The levels are not too complicated. The real trick comes into, I think it's button strategies here. So, by the way, you can add new buttons. Like this would add 1 to my repertoire, which is not a bad one. I like this one. But we just burned a minus, so I kind of want to buy a minus. These are cheap buttons, so I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to grab the minus because I like to keep... pluses and minuses are essential, I would say, with this calculator. Multiply and divide are less essential. And I'm not going to buy the plus one yet. And this is a modulus. This could be conceivably useful. It's only $4. Do I want it? Modulus. There are some really overpowered buttons, too. I'll get it because it's cheap and it gives me another option. So one thing that I didn't do the very first time I played is I just bought every button I could. And again, it turns out that is not a great strategy. What you want to do is be a lot more strategic in your button purchases because eventually you run out of space on your calculator. I think I can buy 1, 2, I think I buy at least 2 more rows and I think I'm done. So we're going to have to be very careful. There's also a button that's a bomb that will blow up a button. Get that because if you have a dead button, where it has no more charges left, it's better to blow it up than to just, wait and hopefully recharge it. But anyway, we need to get to 32. So we need 2, so we could subtract down to... could subtract 32. We bought a 3, so that works. We can also use this to charge up some buttons, which I'm going to do right now. I don't think there's any point to saving this because you can't pick which button you're going to charge. So we got another minus, so I will go ahead and I will go minus 32. And we get down to our 2. So starting out pretty good. Again, button management is going to be key for us. Can we buy the strategically valuable buttons and ignore the junk? Ooh, another subtraction. I will take that. I will take 2 6s. Now, Again, this is kind of interesting. Appends 9 to the current number. It's an interesting button, but it doesn't really jive with our calculator here, so I'm actually going to skip it. This one finds the closest prime number. Another interesting one. Turns out I don't know my primes well enough, because when I did try that button, it was pretty bad. So I'll just re-roll. And, oh, there's the bomb button. It is expensive. I'm going to buy a cheap 3. Just to have it. And then I can't afford the bomb, so I'm scared. I'll get the bomb eventually. I'll keep an eye out for it. Okay, so we need 33. What's the most effective way to get there? I feel like it's another subtraction. If we could subtract by 78, that's not too bad. We have 3 of these, 3 of these. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep things simple. Oh no, wait. Shoot, I already selected the subtract. Right button to cancel if we need to. Sorry, not 78. That would give me 3. We need... oh god. Okay, hold on. What do you add to 33 to get 81? See, this is what made the prior video so hard. It turns out I'm really bad at math on the spot. Okay, so if I add 50, I'll be at 50... I'll be 83. So I need to add 48. So I could subtract 48. And that should give me 33. Yeah! Now, there are boss rounds, too. And we'll get to those. Ooh, a cheap plus. Cheap 1. Reasonably priced 3. I have a lot of those, but I'll take 1 more. This generates the needed number from the last round. That's an interesting button, but no thanks. Let's see what else. Okay, so I need 2s and 4s. Neither of those are here. I'll take 1 more subtraction, because again, they are plussing and minusing. Adding and subtracting are probably my most used moves. I feel like this modulus was a bad buy. Okay, we need to get to 65, so we can just add 50. Now, is there a better way to do this? See, this is where I feel like multiplication and division, they're rare buttons here, because, like, unless it evenly multiplies out, you're never going to use these. Where these are useful is if you have a number like 3 and you have to get to like 90. Then you do want some kind of multiply and divide sometimes, but here I think I'm just going to add 50. Like, it's the simplest way, right? Yeah, like the fewest moves. There we go. I like how the screen like pops out when you get a move. Okay, a cheap division, but we don't really need it, so I may just skip it. A 4. We do need a 4. That 5 is expensive, but I could use a 5, so I'll take it. And I think I'll re-roll, actually. And a cheap plus is always good. Let's see, I can buy a plus. Oh, this one is really good. Swap the current number with the required number. This is a good button to have. I don't know why I can't buy these bombs. I don't know why they're glassed out. I kind of don't want to click on it because I don't know if I want it. Destroys the selected button. Okay, I bought it. I guess it's a one-time use thing. Maybe I should have bought the plus. I don't know. Okay, let's see what happens here. Destroys a random button. Oh, choose a button to destroy. I'll destroy the battery. Boom. Oh, and it generates a different button. I didn't necessarily want that. Converts the current number to 25. Alright, maybe that's useful sometime. There's error. Calculator screen is broken. Oh! Okay, so I started on 49. And I have to get to 97. So let's just keep this simple. If I add 50... I will have 59, so I have to add 48, and that should get me there, right? 49, let's just double check this. Plus 40 is 89, plus 8 is 97. So we want to plus. Well, this is a boss round. I feel a little nervous, like my calculations are off. Let's see if we did it. Okay, that is not as intimidating. That feels scary, but it wasn't too bad at all, actually. Okay, so here's what we want. Good old bomb. This will let us clear away dead buttons. I used a 4, so we'll pick one up. I need an 8, a 1, and a 2. Because basically I only have one of these left, and I don't want to get in a position where I'm dependent on things. Should I grab that plus? I think I will. Grab the plus, and I'll re-roll. What do we got? Oh, I can get a 0, which are very valuable. So I'll go ahead and I'll grab that. Is there anything else that I would want? It's essential. 5 and the 2 and the 8. Okay, I have $5. I will grab, I guess I'll grab an extra 1. Oh no, I have like 4 of those. Maybe I'll just save my cash. It's hard to say. You know, I'll grab one now because it's cheap. Grabbing numbers while they're cheap ain't bad. Alright, you need... Okay, I have 76, I need to get to 14. So here's where, if I wanted, I could swap, and I could have 14, need to get to 76. This button is actually quite useful. I like that we have a bomb, so we can dump unneeded buttons. Like this one and this one, I feel like eventually I'll dump. Anyway, converts a random number to 25. Do I want that, or no? Well, is 14 a multiple of 76? 14 times 4 is 40 plus 24. That's 60 something. If I multiply by 5, if I divide by 5, I should say, that would give me, hold on, divide this by 5. No, wait. 5 times 14 is 50 plus 20 is 70. So if I divide this by 5, I'd be at 15. Damn, it'd be so close, actually. So I could divide by 5 and then subtract 1. Do I want to do that? That's not too bad. The other option is to just use subtract. So I guess I'm using an extra divide if I go that route. I could also just burn this right now. And that would give me to 25. Then I could subtract 11, and I have a lot of 1s. Okay, I'm going to do that instead. So let's go to that. And then if I'm at 25 and I want 14, I can just subtract 11. Okay, and that burned that button. So we can blow that up our next turn. Alright, there we go. One turn victory. Cuts the first digit off of the needed number. That can be interesting, but again, some of these buttons, they seem fancy, but I would say, like, don't just get them just because. Okay, I'm going to re-roll here, because we don't need multiplies and divides. Ooh, we need well, we don't need a cheap 4, but I'll take a cheap 4. I guess I will take a cheap plus. Ooh, I do like an extra bomb. And I guess I'll save my money. Okay, what else we got? So I'm going to go ahead and blow up this button there. And creates a random button. So select the button. And charges a random button or creates. Okay, so it charged something. I think it charged the plus, maybe, actually. Oh, this is a nice, easy one. We only need 56, so we can just add 4. It's the easiest way to do it. Add 4. And off we go. Now, this might seem like a stupidly easy game, but trust me, it isn't. It's like, again, the first time I played this, I was lost. I did terrible. I was not good at it. It's like, again, knowing the buttons, having a strategy going in makes a huge difference. This one gives you a random number, which is kind of interesting. This one's cheap. It wasn't horrible, and I could always blow it up after. I wonder if I should just get it. I'll grab it. Now, do I want a 4 for 5? Yeah. So, like, 5 is an okay price, but what you really want to pay is, like, 3 if you can for buttons. I will take another 5. We don't really need any more pluses at the moment. So why don't I grab an extra 9? Stock up while you can, and we'll just go to the next one. I'll save my $9. Because I feel like we're in a pretty good position. I don't want to get too cocky, but I feel like we're doing pretty good. Okay, now, here is a position where what is the most efficient way to get from 34 to 85? You know, here's another fun thing. Like, you could play this game with your friends. Like, you could just all have calculators out. The tricky thing is figuring out how many uses you have of each button. But you could just come up with cards that are just random numbers. You just draw one. You're like, hey, guys, now we start at 34. We got to get to 76. Like, such an interesting basic idea for a game, but it oddly works. Okay, so this one we need 51. We have the 1s and the 5s and the pluses, so we can spare it. So we're just double check. 5 and 1. Plus 51. And off we go. I think the first time I played this too, I was trying to get too fancy with things. Like, I was trying to be like, oh, like if we multiply by 3 and then like add 2, you know? But it's like, really? Again, this calculator, the pluses and the minuses are your best friend. They're the fastest way to move around the board. Okay, we're going to buy that cheap one. And we're going to re-roll. Ooh, I could take a glass battery. Adds 1 use to a random button. That's generally going to be good for me. Yeah, I'll take it. Let's re-roll. Cheap plus I will always take. Add the number of money to the number. That's an interesting one. Okay, I think I will buy a slightly expensive subtraction, because we only have 2. I want to keep an accumulation of those. We don't need a 1 and a 9 so desperately that we're going to buy them, so I think we'll just go to the next round. Okay, we need 8. Obviously, we're going to subtract by 10. That's the obvious play. So let's see what the button charges. It charged the 1, which is convenient for us. Now, the other thing is we could use this, and then we could add to 10 if we want, right? But that would take an extra button, so I think I'm going to just keep it. The other thing is we could burn one of these. We'd be at 25. No, that actually makes our situation worse. Not worse, but different. Okay, I'll use the subtract. Subtract 10. Off we go. I'm kind of glad I'm re-recording this video because I made a lot of stupid mistakes too the last time I played it. I seem way more competent now, so we just used a 0, so that's a good one to pick up. Here's a square root button if you want. Again, you know, like, not as useful as you'd think, I feel like, at least for the level we're on. Do I want an expensive 9? I do not, but I will re-roll. Buy a cheap subtraction. You do need a 2, so I might pay that. That is a very expensive 2. I think I'll just do another reroll, honestly. You never know. Ooh, the battery is a good one. That's a good cheap battery. And I'll buy a reasonably priced one. Or do I want a subtraction? No, I have a few subtractions. Reasonably priced one. Okay, we'll leave it there. You can't use buttons 3 and divide. So the button 3 and the division button are no-goes. It's okay, we only need to add 5, so we're set. Before we do that, let's double charge. There we go. We could also even blow up that button, but I'll hold on to that for just a second. Now here's a question. We could add 5 if we want. That will work. We could also subtract 2, but that would burn our 2 after we go to 25, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to add... Oh, no, wait. 5. Yeah. Add 5. Like how there's, like, intense boss music, so you can't use divide or 3, and it's like I was going to use those buttons, so I'm set. I'm fine. Okay, 1s and 9s we don't need. Pluses, not at that price. Nothing else here dazzles me, so let's do a re-roll. I'll take a cheap 3 and a cheap 4, even though we don't really need them. I guess I'll take a cheap battery. Maybe I'll do one more re-roll. Nothing really cheap. I guess I will buy an extra subtraction, though, just to have it. Okay, we're getting in a comfortable position, but we're light on the numbers, which concerns me a little. We have some tricks up our sleeve if we need to, though. Let's charge a number. Don't know what we charge. One thing I would say about this game, it's early access, so things are being developed, but the fact that when you hover over something, it covers your numbers. I wish it would, like, go over here in the dead space, Because it's like, what number did I just charge? I have no idea. I'm going to blow up this battery here. And I think that charged our plus, which is convenient. All right, we need 65. And we're at 91. That's not a good number. So let's start thinking about the numbers we would use to do things. Because we do have these, like, modulus we haven't touched. I feel like we're not going to use it all game. It was a bad buy. 25 could be something, because then we just have to add 40, 4, and 0. We have a lot of 4s and a fair number of 0s, so that could be good for us. Alternatively, if we subtract 30, we're at 31, so we have to subtract 26. I don't want to use that too, so instead, we're going to go to 25, and then I'm going to, we're at 25. You know, it also blocks the number on your calculator when you hover over things, whereas like this number is confusing because it's where you started. So I did it in the previous video. I thought this was my number. Do not think that. This is your current number. So we need to add 40. So plus 4, 0. Oh. We're in the game. We can blow up that 25 when the time is right. All right. We need a 5 we don't need, a 9 we don't need, a subtraction we don't really need. We have a lot of those. So I'm going to do a quick re-roll here. See what we got. Oof. Okay, for 3, I will take another bomb. I think it's best to get these bomb things fresh. But once you have a bomb, there's no way to blow up a bomb, if that makes sense. When you buy it the first time, you get 2 charges. Every subsequent buy, you only get 1 charge. So I wouldn't pay more than 3 or 4 at the most for a bomb, where I already have one. Anyway, a reasonably priced 5. I'd rather actually take the slightly more expensive 8, because we need 8s. I'm going to skip the 5 and do a re-roll instead, to try and dig for something better. And my options are basically, do I want this 9? And I'm going to turn it down. Even the 3 I don't need. I really need 2s. I'd like to see... I mean, we're actually doing pretty good accumulating numbers. We need a 2. We need 0, 8, and 7s. But everything else we've got at least 3 or 4 or 5 of. So we're doing actually really good. So I'm going to leave it as is. Oh, and this is a nice easy one. Plus 4. We could also swap and do -4, but this swap can be very useful if you get in a jam, so I'm going to keep it. So even though we're going a little low on the pluses... oh, no, wait, I do need a minus. Jeez, I had these numbers reversed. See, that's how easy it is to do. 37 to 33 is -4. There we go. All right. We're cruising, guys. We're cruising. We're going to fly through this game. Okay, I'm getting low on pluses, so I'll grab 1. Oh, a 2, finally. In fact, 2 2s. So I'm going to take that. This is an interesting number. I'm going to buy this one, too. Just make sure I have enough money. So this one adds 10 if you need more than 10 points to the victory, and remaining if not. This plus or minus 10 basically means if you are within 10 of the desired output number, this just gets you to the victory. So this is a key button to purchase if you see it. And I think I'll buy a cheap 6 while I'm at it, just to knock my 6s up. All right, and I'll save my money here. I don't want the plus 1. Like, it saves me a plus and it saves me a 1, but it's very limited use scenarios. So, and by the way, you only get 1 of these, and I don't know if they replenish very often, so save it for a boss battle, I would say. Anyway, all right, next round. So we need to get to 40. So here's where you might multiply. Still, I probably wouldn't multiply. I'd still probably use addition or subtraction here. Could also swap. Is there a point to doing any of this? No, I mean, we just add 37. All right, so that's what we're going to do. I feel like never before in my life have I been so careful with such basic addition and subtraction problems, you know? Like, every single question, I'm like pausing, like triple checking. I'm like, is it really plus 37, you know? Ooh, a cheap 7. I just used a 7. I'll grab that. I kind of want to buy the expensive 7 too, actually. And I want the plus to replenish. This is pricey. This would be 14. That's a heck of a lot. Or I could re-roll for 5 and try my luck. I think I'll re-roll. Because look, we can get a cheap 3. If a number costs 3 or less, or 3 is the cheapest, you should basically always get it if you can afford it. Unless you really have a bunch of them. 7, 8, and 2s would be, or 7, 8, and 0s would be good. We have a few 2s, but another 2 is never a bad thing. So I'll grab this 2, and I'm going to wait, keep my cash. We're in a good position. We have a lot of numbers. I guess I don't need to dig. I don't need to be a digger. Okay, 23 to 81, that's a weird number. So anything that gets us somewhat close to it. You should see that other calculator where it's like 2s turn to 3s and 3s to 4s. With a number like 23 to 81, it's a real puzzle. Like, how do you get there? Because it's like, okay, the 2s turn into 5s, which then can turn into 7s. It's like this daisy chain of like weird commands. So this is the most basic, easiest you might be looking at this being like pretty easy calculation so far, but again, I failed my first run with this calculator. Now I know what I'm doing, so it's a lot easier. But yeah, you can get the other calculators play so differently. It's crazy. But anyway, okay. So if I add 60, I'll be at 63. So I have to add 58. I can add 58. Is there anything fancier I could do? I really should be blowing up a button. Maybe I should get to 25, and then I would add, let's see, 50 would get me to 55, so I would add 56. If I have more 5s, I have an extra 6, but not an extra 8. Okay. Let's go to 25. Let's blow up this one. I think it gave me a charge of... Did it give me a charge of bomb? It charged the bomb itself. Okay. Okay, so if I add 50, that's 55. So I want to add 56. There we go. Boom. We are a math genius. Like how we have like a pencil and a coffee. Like we're at a coffee shop, like doing this. Can I buy another one of these? No, so you can only have one at a time. I would buy the heck out of this button. Cheap 5 I will always take, though. Reasonably priced 2, but I'm not really in the market for 2s at the moment necessarily. 7s, 8s, 9s. For 6, I think I'll re-roll instead. Okay, cheap 7. That's what I like to see. Or cheap-ish 7. We have a so this number cuts the first digit of the needed number off. It's kind of useful, and then you can use more divides and stuff, but we're not, you can see we're not even using divide and multiply very often at all, so it's really not necessary. And I got a lot of 6s, so I'll do one more reroll, hoping to get something good. I didn't, so I do need a plus, so we'll grab that. We're kind of at a point where we don't need too many more bombs. I should probably just blow up the modulus just to see what we get. I'll buy one slightly expensive subtraction and call it a day there. On the next round. You need to calculate large number. 347. Okay. See, now here's where you have to multiply by a lot. But we can also just swap the numbers if we want. So let's say we swapped it. We had 347 and we need to get to 3. If we divide by... Ooh, yeah. Oh, we could do a modulus. Oh, this might be the case where a modulus is handy. So if we had 347 and we modulused it by something. I almost need another calculator, but I'm going to try and do this all in my head. So if we modulused 347... we can modulus it by like some small number. We could get to 3. I know this is the root, so I'm going to do this. Okay, we now have 347. We got to get to 3. If we modulus by 344, 344, that will give us our number. But I think we could modulus by like a 2-digit, or preferably a 1-digit, but probably a 2-digit. So 344 divided by 2 is 150 plus 44 divided by 2 is 172. Okay, so that's an even number. That divides by 2 again. So 172 divided by 2 is 50 plus 72 divided by 2. So that's 36. Am I doing my math correctly? So that's 86. And that's even, so that divides by 2 again. So 86 divided by 2 is 43. I think that's the smallest we could do. Okay, so let's reverse engineer this to make sure we're correct. If we did 43 times 2, that would be 86, times 2 would be 172, times 2 would be 344. And so the remainder of that would be 3. Am I correct here? Oh god, there's a lot at stake here. I think I forgot the number. 43, I think I said it was. Let's try it one more time just to be safe. 43, 4, and 3. Okay, 43 times 2 is 86. Times 2 is 172. Times 2 is 344. 344 divides evenly here with a remainder of 3, which is what we need. Modulus. I'm scared. I feel like I've done something wrong. 43. Let's go, baby! Yeah! Ching! That's a boss level move right there. Now, I think in the higher difficulties, you get much larger numbers, so it's like you have to do stuff like that more often, but you can see kind of the loops you go through here. Do we want any of these? None of these are really worth it. They're too expensive. Modulus actually ended up saving the day. Can I just say that? I didn't think Modulus was a good choice at the time. So here's a case where this is a cheap button, but like it's not worth buying because it'll gum up the work, so... but yeah, I didn't think Modulus was worth the time at the time, and I was mistaken. A square probably could have helped us out there too, but okay, we're not getting cheap numbers, but I will grab a semi-expensive, or an expensive 8. I guess we can get a little more expensive. And then a semi-expensive 6, and maybe we'll just call it a day. Okay, so we're doing pretty good. No numbers down to 1. The 2 is our weak point, so is the 4, but we'll get those eventually. So we're doing good. Man, I'm glad I had that Modulus. Oh, here's a nice easy one, plus 7. Yep. We're running out of pluses, so that's concerning. But we only have a couple rounds left. So if we get one more plus, I think we're in good shape. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. I'll always take a cheap number. I'm going to give up on that 9, because we only have 4 rounds left, so if I had one more 0 and one more 7, I'd be very comfortable with my numbers. We've got this as a backup. We've got the switch. We've got the bomb. We really just need another plus. Or another cheap minus we'll take. Do we need a 6? We don't. I'm going to dig for another plus. I guess I'll take, a cheap 2. No, wait, a cheap 3? We don't need any more minuses, actually. There's not enough rounds left. In fact, I didn't even need that other one, actually. To just save my money. I'll reroll one more time. There's a plus. Okay, so I'll grab this. I think we have more or less all the buttons we're going to need for the rest of the game, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here we have 84. We need to get to 26. I wonder if we could do another wizard move. I feel like that Modulus was one of the sickest moves I've ever done. One of the sickest calculations I've ever pulled off. So 84 divided by 2 is 42. And then divided by 2 again is 21. So if we divide by 4, we can get to 21. Then we would add 5. That uses a division, but I feel like that doesn't really help us, because we could also just subtract, let's see, if we subtracted 60, we'd be at 64. So if we subtract 58, we might as well just do that. We have a lot of subtractions to burn through. There we go. We rocked it. Rocked it like rock stars. Boom. Okay, the plus is expensive. Actually, we don't even need it because there's only 7 rounds left. So what do I want to dig for? I mean, a cheap 8 I'll take. I could use a 4, a 5, a 0. I'm going to give up on that plus because we don't need multiple pluses. Don't need another 6. So let's just look for some kind of like value button. Don't even need that cheap 3 or the minus. This swap might be handy. The 2's not needed. We'll reroll. I don't know what I'm digging for specifically, but let's just see what's out there. Cheap 3. I'll buy a semi-expensive 4, or an expensive 4, in fact. Yeah, sure. All right, we need 40 and we have 58, so we could subtract 18. Is there any other way to get there? Not really. So we got to use these subtractions. We got a lot of 1s. We have a reasonable number of 8s. So off we go. I feel like we're just gonna rock this one. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about how these calculations have turned out. Oh, I want another one of these. It's the please let me win automatically button. I guess I'll buy a semi-expensive 5 just to have it. Reroll. We don't need a 3. We don't need a 2, but that's a very reasonably priced 2. This converts all 3s to 0s. You know what? I'll buy it just for the fun of it. Maybe we'll need it. And I'll buy this one as a utility button, just in case. No 3s out there, but if there was any 3 in my digit or that one, we could convert them to 0s, so, kind of interesting button. We need to add 49. We can do that. So, just double check. Oh no, we need to subtract 49. Almost totally screwed up. If you screw up, it's a lot harder to win at this game. All right, we're doing good. Last round coming up. Do we want anything here? We don't need too much here. Got a lot of 3s and 2s. We don't need another 6, so let's just reroll. We'd buy this in a heartbeat. Don't need 3s, don't need 9s. Don't need another modulus. We have one if we need it. Anything else worth buying? I feel like we're set. I feel like we're good to go into this final fight. Might as well just buy a cheap 9. Reroll. Ooh, there's a battery. Can't afford it. Would be nice. Do I want a cheap 1? A 6? Doesn't really matter. Just, I'll buy a 1. You never know. 1s can be valuable. You need to calculate a large number. All right. Here's where the brain power comes in again. 634, and we need to get to 84. And by the way, we can convert... oh, no, wait. It would only be a 3 if it was in our... We have to get close, and then we'll just hit the victory button. So 634 divided by 2 is 319. Okay. That's a weird number. 319. Does that divide into anything? We could approximate this, because we could use a division and then we just got to get close. So hold on, let's think about this for a second. I want to do this in as few moves as possible to show off, basically, at this point. We're just showboating now. If we divide, so first of all, we could swap, and then we could just need to divide. I feel like that's the way to go. Starting with a big number, it's easier, but maybe we can multiply. So if we multiplied this by 10, we'd have 840, so it's too big. If we multiplied by 8, we'd have 8 times 80 is 640, plus 8 times 32. So 640 is good, but then we get a little too high. So 8 times 7, that would be 560, plus 7 times 4 is 28, so it's 588. It's still not as close as I'd like to be. Oh, you know what we can do is we can just subtract off the first digit of needed number. Then we just need 34. So there we go. Things just got a lot simpler. Subtract 50 and we win. Didn't even need this button. Oh man. I was like trying to get all sophisticated Well, it's just a very simple snip job. We did it! We did it! We beat... You can go to endless mode, but we're going to stop right here. We beat Calculated on the easiest setting with the easiest calculator. And it's just that easy, guys. It's just that easy. But yes, if you want another challenge, you can give this calculator a try. This is a totally different strategy because you can divide and do modulus, and you can reverse numbers, but it's like it's a very tricky calculator. This one is quite fun if you if you find this too easy. This one is quite weird too. Converts all 1s to 5s, 5s to 6s, 6s to 2s, 2s to 4s, 4s to 7s, 7s to 8s, so on. You do a big cycle through all the numbers, but it's not like incremental or anything. So yeah, it's an interesting game. I would say if you like roguelikes, if you like a game like Balatro or Slay the Spire or something like that, you might find some fun in here. I certainly did have a fun time with it once I kind of understood. And you know, if you're not so off put by math, again, the math is simple, but you do have to kind of think through the math a little. And yeah, it's kind of good. My first version of this video got lost at times. I could not do the calculations in my head at the time. Way better today, so I think it's just the confidence helped me through it. But guys, what do you think of Calculated here? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you are interested, I'll leave a link to Steam below. You can go check it out. And again, it's a very cheap game. I think it's like $4.99 or $3.99 maybe even. And it's currently in early access. So if you like roguelikes even a little, go check these guys out. It may be worth the purchase. Until next time, my friends, though, you take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Alrighty, guys. Peace.